Live from Milan Fintech Summit 2023 here in Milan at Allianz MiCo, 2 days of working to talk about the future of fintech. In this moment, we are in our column Unicorn Tales, so the place where we want to tell about the stories of some of the most important companies which works in fintech industry. In this moment, we are together with Emanuele Agueci, who is a regional manager at Italy, Ireland, Baltics at Trade Republic. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Emanuele, we want to start with you from the name of your company. So, Trade Republic, you are a unicorn. So, what does it mean to be a unicorn, but also a unicorn which wants to democratize, we can say, the financial and banking services. So, what does it mean to be a unicorn with this mission today?
Very true, and indeed, our name summarizes our mission quite well, we think. So, Trade Republic has the mission of democratizing access to financial markets. And interestingly, the name comes from a trip to Rome that our founders made a few years back. And really, in Rome, they had this vision of building a republic for investments. So, a place where anybody could start building wealth, regardless of where they come from, their economic status, and so on. And this has been really our driver up until now, the fuel that has created our growth. And thanks to this, today Trade Republic is present in 17 countries, has millions of customers, and has billions of assets under management. And this mission of really democratizing access to financial markets resonates particularly well with young investors.
So young investors and new generation of financial professionals are looking for something new, not only in terms of fintech, but also in terms of technological adoption and cultural approach on the fintech solution, and also to investments, obviously. But what are the challenges and opportunities that this new wave of younger investors is bringing with itself?
So the opportunity is big. It's huge, actually, and Italy has always been on Trade Republic's radar. Has always been considered one of the most strategic markets. So our outlook for the retail investing scene in Europe is extremely positive, and the number one driver that we see is really young investors. With young investors, I mean millennials and Gen Zs, which really are creating a generational shift versus their parents. We are seeing completely different behaviors from this particular group of customers. So these young investors tend to be way more proactive in the way that they manage their finances. They are much more interested in the topic of financial planning, topics of budgeting, topics of investing for the long term. And in our reading, the motivation for this is quite simple. It's because they are growing up in a world that is radically different from their parents' world. So many of them dream of owning a house one day, or retiring comfortably, but these goals appear very far away, and they appear a bit uncertain sometimes. So what do they do as a response? They become proactive in managing their finances. They take finances in their own hands, and this is really the target group that we are serving. This is the problem that we are solving for them. So the opportunity is huge, and we are seeing a great traction. One sign of how more financially empowered these customers are is the way that they invest. So we're seeing that they understand and appreciate ETFs a lot, exchange traded funds, and they understand that it's a very simple and accessible and cost-effective way of building a position in the capital markets.
So under this point of view, look into the future, what will be the next trends in terms of investments and also in terms of growth, apparently for you or for this new generation of people and users and professionals, obviously?
Yes. So we're seeing a few very important trends. The number one is this research for transparency and simplicity. And again, we're seeing this specifically with the young investors, with the young investors group. So it's a generation that doesn't have much patience for bad surprises, especially when they come in the form of hidden fees. And therefore, they really reward brands that communicate with them in a transparent and simple way, and that position themselves as trusted partners in this investment journey that's going to take them places, maybe for a lifetime even. So if a brand, as Trade Republic always did, position themselves as, very approachable, very transparent, the simplest, and also one of the most competitive fee structures, that's where you really build that trust that makes you grow in a market in a very sustainable way. The other big trend that we're seeing is bonds investing. So it's a resurgence in interest for this particular asset class, and that comes from the fact that it's a special macroeconomic moment in time, this one. So returns on bonds have been non-interesting for many years, and now they are interesting again, which means that a lot of people that traditionally have been very invested in stocks now have an occasion to diversify their portfolio with an asset class that is typically less volatile. And especially for a generation of young investors, maybe it's the first time in their life that they have a chance to include bonds in their well-diversified portfolio for the long term. So our recent launch of bonds a few weeks ago really aims at solving that problem and giving everybody, especially young investors, a place to build a diversified portfolio for the long term that now can also include bond.
And so thank you for your spotlight on this and for being with us today.
Thank you for having me again.